The story begins with who would have thought that the usually flora and fauna researcher Line Minyu would become a rain goddess because of one accident. There was a voice. Got her. The one chosen by fate. In the end, Lin was contacted by the magic system. In other words, it saved her. Yes, she was the one who saved her. She is now her magic system. However, to earn her return to her homeworld, Lena will have to become a rain goddess in another world. However, that in order to make it rain, she needed to kiss him, wondered Lena. Under the power of his beauty. Now you're going to have to do it if you want it back. Besides, look how handsome he is. He even has the lion ears she likes so much. She won't lose anything from this kiss, the magic system told her. Lene started looking for fancy ways to kiss him. Like she's a laney and let's play kissing games. What she didn't realize, however, was that it would spill over into something more. She only saw him as a friend, yet he had decided that Lene was now his wife. Manfei is only his youngest, and Line is his female. And how could she resist such a cute little lion cub, Lene thought. Wait a minute, others started courting her too, didn't they? Lena would make them ardent desires. But now, from the beginning, and in order. The laboratory where experiments are conducted, a girl stands in front of a large aquarium with water and writes something. This is an experimental organism, a C2 of a new species, which after 2 years of work by recombination of genes was bred by our research group. Our main character's name is Line Minyu, a researcher at the Azuyuan Zoology Research Institute. The girl looks into the aquarium and says, "It is still in the incubation stage for now. There's some creature lying in an aquarium, and the girl is waiting for something to happen to it. I think it was just starting to happen. The shell was beginning to open. He'll be here soon," Lena said. Sometimes she wouldn't have thought she could witness history because of her lessons. "We need to get a picture of everything soon and send it to the work chat room," she told Lena. S2 looks fascinating. It looks a bit like sea wax, and its body looks like a jellyfish, and his tentacles glow. "What's going on in the aquarium? The electricity is flowing!" Leanne shrieked in surprise. The girl immediately rushed to the outlet to unplug the aquarium. Need to unplug and move it to another tank, she thought. Can't put C2 in danger, or they'll lose the results of years of work. The girl reached into the aquarium to retrieve the creature with a net. And just like at the beginning of our story, we're repeating ourselves. There was a voice. "I've got her, the one who was chosen by fate." The monster grabbed Linai and carried her away. The girl thought she was in pain. What a shame, so she's dead. But in her stupefaction she saw a flask of water and heard the words, "Drink some water." She thought, is that S2 water? And she kept yelling, "Don't eat it!" And she threw back the water dish. She was answered to this. Don't spill water like that if you're not thirsty. It's very precious here. When she opened her eyes, she saw a guy in front of her. His ears were like an animal's, soft and fluffy. Jialan, the Lion King, head of the Western Malia tribe. Liane, when she saw it, started mumbling. Well, I'm sorry I attacked you. She was really scared because she had been attacked by a S2 and almost drowned. Thank you for saving her. Oh yeah, what's up with S2? Is everything all right? And the starving rabbit is your species or something. What tribe are you from? The lad asked. But he thought to himself, what a strange species. He'd never heard of one before. He must find out who she was. Explanation for starving rabbit, they have it consonant with like S2. Lene asked her tribe's appearance, surprised, couldn't figure out what he wanted from her. When she looked around, she saw that they were in the desert, and not in her lab where she had been just a few minutes ago. The girl asked why we were in the desert. She had just been in the lab. The guy leaned over to her and asked Xianshi, is this your tribe again? Clarification in this guy's language lab is consonant with Xianshi. He thought again he had never heard of such a tribe. She is definitely not from his tribe. Malia. Where are your males? Why did they leave you in the middle of the dangerous desert? He asked. Lene looked at him and thought tribe males he was using some strange words. Wait a minute, she said. Those are lion ears. She noticed this guy had fluffy, soft ears on his head. What cute ears, are you a cosplayer? Yes, she asked and started touching those ears. Oh, it's just like a real one. But it doesn't seem to hurt him at all, she thought. Apparently because she was attacked by S2, she started hallucinating. Now she sees this man with her favorite lion's ears. But obviously the guy didn't like it. So he grabbed her hand and pulled it away from his ears. It was kind of rough. "Insolent female, how dare you touch his ears? Don't you know that this is a forbidden area of the king?" shouted he. While he was yelling at her, Lena noticed that he had more than just fluffy ears. Oh, and the tail is also a forbidden zone. What a touch, such a real touch. As if everything is real before she never had the opportunity to touch the lion to enjoy at least in a dream, thought the girl, and began to feel his soft, fluffy tail. The guy didn't realize she was trying to woo him. First the ear oil, now the tail. He got a little angry, grabbed his arrow and threatened Lena, pointed the arrow at her neck. She screamed, "What are you doing?" And the guy asks, "What tribe are you from? What are you up to?" And then Lene realized that the pain was real, and even blood was already starting to seep from his island of a tip. "I think she's moved somewhere," the girl thought, "and now she's in danger." They continued to be in this position. And what do I do now? She of course escaped death, but was transported to some unknown time. That's how those words were deciphered in the beginning. She is the one chosen by fate. She thought it was the same voice as S2's when he pulled her into the aquarium. Some strange creature appeared in a cloud, a small one with wings. The creature said it was her system, White Dadan. "White, aren't you yellow?" The girl asked why she came out of nowhere. She started pointing her finger and says, "To this guy, hurry up, look around." The girl in yellow appeared right out of thin air. "She's a lot more suspicious than him, so you better question that creature." But the guy didn't even move, he's like frozen and staring at her. Lean asks, "Why are you frozen, or have you decided to let her go?" While the guy froze, either couldn't get his arrow away from her neck. "So she was the one who saved her?" Line asked. "Yes, it was I who saved you. She is your system and golden instrument. And don't call her yellow, she's white." "The gold instrument system, what are you talking about?" Line asked. "And why did you move her to such a strange place?" The creature began to reply. "To put it simply, you are already dead in your world. You died in an accident related to my pending mutation of a new species. But you are lucky. Our system chose you, made you a daughter of the desert world and endowed you with the rain skill. After completing the Oasis mission in this world, you can be reborn in your own world." Line got upset, shouting, "So she died without even getting glory for creating S2. She studied hard for so many years and even managed to get a job at a research institute. She was so busy that she never even once fell in love or tasted a king crab. And after all that, she just died." The girl was clearly upset, and said with great anger that she would definitely return to her world to take advantage of all this. "What were you saying about the Oasis mission and the rain skill?" The creature began to narrate. "There are 4 main tribes in this world. The Western Jia tribe, the Eastern Dika tribe, the Northern Linhong tribe, and the Southern Jun tribe. When you obtain the 4 treasures of these tribes, you will be able to combine their power and become a water goddess. Then you will have the power to turn the desert into an oasis world. As for the rain skill, kiss him and you'll understand." The creature pointed at that guy with the ears. Lean shouted, "Are you kidding me or something? I just met him. Plus he tried to kill her a minute ago, and you want me to kiss him? You'll have to do it if you want to go back. Besides, look how handsome he is. He even has those lion ears you like so much. You won't lose anything from this kiss," the creature said. But he was ready to kill her from one touch. If she kissed him, he'd kill her for sure, Lena said. "Don't worry. She promises no one will hurt her. What's more, they'll even start thanking you," and started shoving her towards this guy. And then this creature unfroze this guy with its magic action, and he opened his eyes and saw that he was kissing our heroine. He thought to himself, how come he had captured this female? How could she get so close to him so quickly? And then it all came true. As the creature said, it rained. "It's raining," Lena said. "It's pouring rain." Just then, a sign appeared in a pop-up window that said, "Congratulations, you've gotten the Kiss achievement and mastered the rain skill." "Rain, how great is that? It's actually raining," said this guy. He was very happy about the rain. Lene herself was surprised at how happy he was about this rain. She hadn't expected such a reaction from him. "You know, it hasn't rained in our tribe's territory for a long time. You are a goddess sent to them by the heavens." He grabbed Lena in his arms and began to twirl with joy. "Oh, let me go!" she shouted. So this is what the system was talking about when it assured her that no one would hurt her, and even praise her, thought the girl. There's nothing to worry about. As long as there's a lot of water vapor here, it will rise up in the air current and start to balance out, forming clouds. When enough condensation builds up, It starts to rain, said Lean. He didn't know what she was talking about, but he couldn't stop admiring her and couldn't take his eyes off her. She really is a goddess, he thought. It didn't take long for them to rejoice. In an instant, a sharp claw appeared. The boy cried out cautiously, but the length had no time to group itself, and it was the claw that seized her. What a luscious female, he'd love to have her, said Sokka, the name of the scorpion's boyfriend. How painful it is. She just calmed down the lion and then the scorpion appeared. But it's a good thing the lion had spears. He could hit the claw of that scorpion creature with one of his spears. The claw released Lena from its chains. Lan's boyfriend grabbed Lena in his arms and ran with her. He ran up to this scorpion and said Sokka is his female. The ever-lonely Lan has a female, said Sokka Scorpion. Because of the patriarchy of your tribe, you can enjoy so many women. Maybe we can try this female together, said Sokka. But Lena wrapped her arms around the guy even tighter. And don't dream of it, replied Lan threateningly with his spear, which sent sparks with the spears. All those spears flew at the guy's scorpion, dozens of them. But Sokka said that he here was sure that Lan would change his mind soon. Just give him this female, and that's it, he said. Lan's boyfriend put her on the ground and said, Stay here and don't go anywhere. He'll be back soon. Yes, okay, replied Lenai. And then the fight started. The guy turned into a lion king, a huge red lion. What, he decided to fight seriously over this female? Well, he'll take the fight then too, Sokka Scorpion said. And then a fight broke out. Scorpion Boy turned into a scorpion, and our Lion King turned into a lion. They've changed their shape, Linne said. What kind of world is this that you can change your appearance? While the guys were figuring out among themselves who was stronger, more important, then Linne wondered if she should run away from them after all. She almost forgot. She's in a world she doesn't even know. If she ran away, she was bound to run into some strange beast. At least this lion no longer fears her and even seems to protect her. The best solution in this situation would be to use this lion as a shield and slowly accomplish the system's missions, Lean thought. Then she would have to gain his trust. She wondered how she would do that, and shoved her hands in her pockets in the habit of a lab technician. Oh, what's that in your pocket? The girl fumbled for some sort of object. As it turns out, she has a flashlight in her pocket. Scorpions are nocturnal, so they are very sensitive to bright light. She had no idea that her favorite flashlight would go with her. When Line shined the flashlight on him, Sokka shouted, "What is that? Why is it so bright? Stop it!" This huge scorpion escaped from the bright light, but as it turned out, he only made a circle to accelerate and attack Lena. He ran after her from behind and shouted, "Damn it! The female hates bright lights! He'll eat her alive!" And then our lion guy came sneaking up from the side and bit him on the claw. The lion guy turned back into a man and took our heroine in his arms, asking, "Are you okay?" The girl noticed that the big scorpion was dead. Finally, this beast was so dangerous. However, the lion tore it into small pieces. In this world, power decides everything. Here, the weak are victimized by the strong, Linne thought. Whether from fatigue or from the fact that she had traveled between worlds, Linne lost consciousness. For some reason, it seemed to her that this lion had attacked her. She screamed, "No, don't eat it!" But she was in the lion boy's arms at that moment, and he couldn't understand what was wrong with her. "Wake up," he was telling her. "The western district of the Malia tribe. I wonder what happened to Jialan. It's taking him so long to return." Manfei, daughter of a former tribal chief. When she looked out for him, she finally saw him walking in the distance across the desert. "And he's finally back," she said. "I noticed he was carrying someone, some woman. And why is she in Jialan's arms?" At the same time in the tribe, the children run down the street and shout that they have heard that the elder brother has returned, not only with water, but also with a beautiful sister. "Where is she?" shouts the second child. "He wants to see her too." The children ran up to the priestess's house and said she was there. He didn't find a water source today, but he collected rainwater, holding out several water tanks. "Manfei, can you distribute water to everyone?" "Yes, all right," the girl replied. "Jialan, who is this girl you brought? Why did you pick her up?" The children were already crowding around the entrance to the dwelling to see the newcomer. When they saw her, they began to say how beautiful she was, and what tribe they were from. And another boy said, "What good is her beauty? He doesn't think that with such a frail body she will be able to work long." And the girl noticed that she had some unusual dress. She'd never seen one like it before. She was attacked by Sokka in the desert, and she lost consciousness. That's why he brought her here, the boy said. Jialan, you are so kind, said Manfei. But our water supply is barely enough for the needs of the people of our tribe. They can't take in one more person. But the girl herself thought that she should definitely banish this stranger because Jialan was hers. At the same time, he has a strong suspicion that it is a female rain goddess sent by the heavens. After meeting her, the sky, which had been so clear, was suddenly covered with dark clouds, and then it began to rain. This is the rainwater he brought. Well, as always, when the kids heard, it started, "What is this goddess? Does she really have the power to make it rain?" "Writing without leaving, our tribes," the grown women said. "A goddess? That's impossible. She doesn't look like a goddess after all," said Manfei. "They'll know if she's a goddess when the priestess gets here," the boy said. And just as he spoke, a woman came in immediately saying, "Why is it so lively here today?" She had a staff with a blue ball on it. "This is the Mosi woman, the priestess of the Malia tribe." "Priestess, you came." Everyone started admiring and saying, "You are very timely, priestess. Please use your stone to see if this girl is a goddess or not." The priestess averted her eyes with a question. "Goddess, let's check it out now." And she began to conjure, and she turned to her gods and she said, "Orb of the light of the gods, give her strength. Show her the fate of this girl." And the ball began to shine very brightly with sparks of all kinds. Then at some point one of the girls shouted, "Priestess, your stone has fallen to the ground. It means that this girl does not possess divine powers." That was exactly what the priestess said. The stone did not detect divine power in her. But there was something wrong here. Even if there was no divine power in it, the stone shouldn't have reacted like this. The woman picked up the stone, and at that moment it started raining outside. Everyone started yelling, "Yay, rain, a real goddess!" The priestess thought it was the future foretold by the magic stone. So this is the future this girl will bring them. An excerpt of what the priestess saw. So this is the rain-blessed city of Malia. This is the land where our time must live. Get them out of here. Brother Linhei, Jialan, since this girl has no divine powers, we will escort her out of here. When she wakes up, we don't have extra water for her, said Manfei, but the priestess stopped them. "Wait," she said. "Though she has no divine power, she can greatly affect the future of their tribe. But great fortune and misfortune go hand in hand. It can be a good opportunity, but it can turn into a curse. It must be weighed carefully." "Then let's have a vote. Let everyone choose for themselves whether to keep it or not," said Manfei, and then everyone would start shrieking. The girls who were with Manfei would shout that they were against the girl staying, and the guys who were in favor of Jialan, they, on the contrary, said that they agreed, and this new girl was staying. "It's so noisy in here, and some girls are yelling too," she said to Lena, waking up. "Line!" Jialan shouted. "She's his female, and none of you will lay a finger on her, since the priestess said she could help our tribe. He's keeping her, and will resolve any trouble she brings." Linne heard him say that she was his female. Why was this guy starting to say such strange things again? And only Manfei was very displeased. She clenched her fists in anger, and thought that this unknown girl had to leave their tribe. Jialan's female can only be her. Evening came when already Linky had come to her senses. Then Jialan decided to show her where she would live. This is his abode now. Now she would live with him. And Lian asked where she would sleep. Jialan poked his finger at a large block of stone, flat, and said, "Over there." "Line," she asked, "what about you? Where do you sleep?" Line said, "You are my female. Naturally, he will sleep with you." Lien shouted, "What? You're going to sleep with her?" "You can't do that. We've known each other for the first day. She can't do that. She's not that kind of girl. Besides, another girl seems to like you a lot, Faye. She won't be thrilled if she finds out we're sleeping together." All the more reason for Lena to just imagine what could happen. Lions, after all, are very strong and have endless attraction. If he gets it in his head, she certainly won't be able to avoid it. Wait, what is she even thinking about right now? This is not the time for such thoughts. Gotta pull herself together. She's unshakable, an unbreakable fortress. Jialan walked over and hugged her, saying that Manfei was only his youngest, and Linghe was the older female. He had shot a boar this morning, so now they would eat. He drew his sword and began to cut down the boar. After cutting off one of its legs, he said, Here's a boar's leg. Is that enough for you? Asked the girl. With that paw in her hand, she wondered how she could eat it. Jialan immediately showed her how to eat it by biting off a piece of meat from that leg. He began to chew and said, "How else can you eat meat? You just take a bite and swallow it." Lena felt sick to her stomach and started vomiting from what she saw. She understands that it will be raw meat, but he's in human form now. So this world still hasn't learned how to use fire, she thought. The guy asked if you're not feeling well. If so, he can take her to Mobe. He's a bit of a doctor. She said she's fine, but she has one question. Do they have a fire? He asked why you needed the fire of our tribe well guarded in his abode. If there's no fire, she'll do without meat. She'll need some fruit if there is any. Lena was given fruit, and sat eating and thinking what kind of primitive society it was that guarded the fires. She thought she'd have to teach them something, and she'd probably start by building a fire. When the night came, they went to bed, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I thought that even though they were sleeping together, luckily he didn't do anything strange. While she's lying there thinking, her system comes up and says she's happy to be lazy. You forgot your mission. Now you need to jump on this guy. The system shows her how it should be. She should jump on this guy and start kissing him. Why does she hesitate? The system asks her to kiss him and eat him, but isn't her mission to fulfill the Oasis quest? What does that have to do with this guy? And stop thinking about vulgarities. You've forgotten about the rains that came because of one kiss. Don't you want to unlock more skills to make it easier to complete your mission? Line thought about the words. There was some truth in the system. Moving closer to Jialan, she doesn't think she has much to lose from kissing such a handsome guy. No, she can't, she told Lena, not much to lose. What the hell is she thinking? It's all about the white Dedan. The girl fell asleep, and in the middle of the night, she felt very cold. Jialan moved over to her and hugged her so that she could sleep peacefully. But she lay there and said in her sleep that she was cold, so cold. Lan put his hand on her forehead and realized she had a fever. Could it be hypothermia? She can't lie here anymore, he thought. He tried to wake her up, shaking her and asking if she could hear him, but she didn't wake up. Then he took her in his arms and said he would take her to Mobai right away. It's already night outside, but then the fox digs holes and says, "Finally finished. Great job digging another passageway." He's a real genius. Now he has his shortcuts everywhere. Licking his paws, reasoned the fox. Then Mobai's voice came out. "Hurry up and look this female. I think she's passed out," Lon said. "How did you find him?" Fox asked, turning from a fox to a guy. It wasn't like he was looking for it. He smelled it right. He has such a keen sense of smell that it's even annoying. Mobai the furry fox. Mobai leaned over and looked at this girl and said, "Oh, what a beautiful female. And what have you done to her that she is now in this condition? Since you don't know how to take care of girls, let him take care of himself instead." Holding out all his hands to the girl, Mobai said, but the guy wouldn't give him the girl. He stepped aside. Mobai got angry and said, "What does that mean? Do you even want me to save her or not?" Lon said, "Put aside unnecessary thoughts. This is his female." The guys started fighting with their gazes so hard that there were sparks coming from their squabbling. Another girl came in. She thought, what are Jialan and Mobai's brother doing here? This girl's name was Velvet Catseed. Lena became very hot and started to become delirious, saying she was hot. "Hey, Cousin Lon, who's that pretty girl? She seems to be in pain. Stop standing on the pillar. We need to find out what's wrong with her," the girl said. Touching her forehead, she said her forehead was very hot. "Do you know if she was very cold at first? She may have had severe hypothermia. If so, we can't delay," said Mobai. Velvet Cat noticed that the girl's clothes were very wet. She asked, "What, did she lie down with you, Brother Lon, in the mountains? It's very cold right now, and her clothes are all wet. No wonder she's cold." Lon's boyfriend thought about it and realized that it was indeed so. That's right, her clothes were wet because of the rain, and he had completely forgotten about it. Velvet Cat said they needed to change her first, and she would go get some of her clothes. Lon said it was all because of his carelessness, and forgot to bargain Velvet Cat for clothes. They all walked into the cave. Mobayu Lena kept raving. "Hot, so hot," she said. "Hey Linhei Jialan, if you can't change her, he can do it. Shut up," Lon said. Lon bent over the girl to begin dressing her. At one point, while he was changing her, Lena grabbed his arm and put his hand to her chest, and said the girl coldly, "She's so glad he's with her." But Lon's boyfriend blushed very much, because he thought that he had just touched, but then abruptly coughed now. is not the time for this need to change her quickly, and in a big hurry. Haha, it's funny to see you embarrassed, Lan said Mobai. He asked you to let Simian or him change her, but you refused, saying it's your woman. Why are you talking so much? Said Lan, thanking for the potion later will bring him a boar, snatching the plate with the potion. Think that he saved her for his boar? Of course not. He did it because of the beauty of this female, and he thought that at last the boar would be able to eat properly. Sat the girl down on a rock so she could drink without choking on it. When he handed her a bowl of potion to drink, it came out of her mouth. The guy said that's not gonna work. It's like it's the only way. He took the potion and filled his mouth, and then he kissed her and handed her the potion so it wouldn't leak out and go in her mouth. Lena began to come to her senses, and hearing the flavors she felt in her mouth, a very bitter something. Just separate the commas. He's not violating anything. The girl began to come to her senses, but she couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. She saw Lan's boyfriend, who was very handsome, and she thought it was a dream and she could do whatever she wanted. She just pounced on him and started kissing him. But when I opened my eyes, I realized it wasn't a dream, but a reality, and shook it off with the words, "Oh, you're finally awake," the Lan guy said. Looks like Mobai's healing potion helped after all. She need me, so it's because of him. She felt a bitterness in her mouth. God, what has she done? Shame on you. And then White appeared. Congratulations on discovering a new skill, Thunder. At the moment this skill is so you won't be able to use it yet. Lena thought that means she can unlock other skills too. It seems like a swim kiss really can do that. But it's so disconcerting. There's no way to change this method. White said there are other ways. She is, after all, her golden instrument. So try kissing someone else. Maybe then, like his Mobai. Wow, this beauty is so brave. I never thought that the ever-lonely lion Lan could find such a beautiful female, said Mobai, approaching the girl. Lene thought that White was saying that on purpose. It's obvious that she was talking about changing ways in general, not about the person. Who took Liz's hand and said hello. His name is Mobai. Would you like to be his female? Said he's much better than Lan. He's not only good at digging holes, he's also good at healing. Plus he's great at massages, and he's cute little ones too. So primitive that they ask women to be their females. First that scorpion and now Mobai, Lena thought. I'm sorry, but she doesn't think they know each other well enough to get close. So she took her hand away. Mobai turned into a fox and said you really don't want to make a very pitiful expression on his face, or rather his muzzle. So cute and fluffy, thought Lene, and can I touch your tail? It's so big and fluffy, said Lene. Well, accept, Mobai said, and let her touch it. It was unclear how, but Mobai was in Lene's arms very quickly. She noticed that he was very soft and fluffy, but she was surprised at his speed. While they were making out, Lan came in. Seeing the whole picture, he walked up to Lena, grabbed her hand and said, Since you are already healthy, we can go. Which Mobai had to recoil. Lonnie was walking so fast that Lenny couldn't keep up and yelled at him, Please slow down! And Mobai ran after them and said, What, did you forget your clothes? Are those her clothes? Oh, why does he have them? Lena didn't even notice that she was wearing different clothes. Examining herself, she asked, When did she have time to change her clothes? Or who changed her? So he's the one who changed her, she said. Well, you're his female after all, and so he's the one who had to take care of her clothes. You were unconscious and he couldn't ask your permission, so he changed clothes with his eyes closed. With his eyes closed? So nothing terrible has happened, Lena thought. But then suddenly Lan grabbed her arm, moved her toward him and said, Do you have something against him? You've already saved her life so many times and she hasn't even thanked you. How can she be unhappy about anything? She said. And you took your hand too hard now, it hurts her. Well, if you're not happy with him, why were you so angry when you found out he was cross-dressing you? Well, because we're not that close to each other yet, Lene said. You don't even know my name, do you? I think she's heard your name before. The guy introduced himself. His name is Lan. He's the head of the Western Malia tribe. Now it's your turn. What is your name and what tribe are you from? Her name is Line Minyu. As for tribe, honestly speaking, she doesn't have a tribe. No tribe? How is that possible? Or maybe she was banished from her home tribe, thought Lan. Or alternatively, though it doesn't matter now, you are a female of his, which means you will henceforth become a member of his Malia tribe. Pushing the guy away, Lene said, You've been going on and on about her being your female since the moment they didn't meet. But she hasn't actually agreed to anything yet. She? What does he have to do to get you to agree? The guy said. grabbing her hands. He doesn't. But they need to get to know each other first. Suddenly, Lon turned into a lion, sat down and sits with bulging eyes looking at her. His lion ears look so soft. Wait, what is she even thinking, and why did he suddenly turn? Maybe he did it because she touched Mobi's tail? Lena said she couldn't be bribed with that. Where she comes from, only those who love each other become partners. Love each other? Interjected the Lon guy. Lena explained to him that love is when two people have an invisible connection between them, and they are constantly thinking about each other. Sometimes they are sad because of it, and sometimes they are endlessly happy. As much as she wants to find her one and only pair, she still can't stop thinking about the fact that she could have two fluffies at once. While they were talking, for some reason it started to rain. Lena asked how it was raining here. Is the cave leaking, or is it because of her skill? Rain clouds could appear even in caves. I wonder what exactly activated the skill this time. The doe rejoiced. It's raining again. It rained some strange rain, it only rains inside the cave. He grabbed Lene's hand and said that she really was a goddess. There was no other way to explain it. Then he cradled her in his arms and told her how lucky she was to be here. The Malia tribe needs her. Lene was surprised. There, he'd done it again. Leanne's boyfriend started hugging her and kissing her on the back of her head. Lean said, "Wait." Sorry, he was so excited he forgot. Lene stood in the cave, soaking wet from her own rain. Lon's boyfriend took the skin and said, "You've only just recovered, haven't you? We can't let you catch cold again." And he covered himself in line with the pelt to keep out the rain. Lene looked up and said to the guy, "Thank you." Lon's boyfriend asked to support the hide because he needs to get to the village soon and bring people here so the water doesn't fall in vain. "Okay," replied Lena. The guy said he'd be back soon. "Fight on, Lene. Don't be tempted by Jialan's good attitude. I've never heard of it raining right in a cave. It looks like that woman the chief brought is really a goddess," said one of the women in the tribe. "Let's better hurry up. We need to get the water underground soon so it doesn't evaporate." This place is so primitive, thought Lean. They don't make fires. They eat raw meat, and they store water inside the leaves. Lon's boyfriend walked up to Lena and asked her something. "Not so," she replied. "No, nothing, it's fine." "What, the priestess wants to see her again?" "Well, let's go," said Lene. When she came to the priestess, the woman had already taken out her blue orb and began to conjure something. "God of infinite light, give her strength," she said. "Please tell her if this girl has divine powers," pointing the orb toward Lena, said the female priestess. Wow, she's really using a magic ball, thought Lene. Their people are primitive in everything, yet this priestess seems different. So she's gone into a world of primitive beast humans with elements of magic. And as an explorer of flora and fauna, she has a distinct advantage. While Lene was thinking about her own, the lawn guy shouted cautiously. He quickly rushed to her and covered her with his body. "Are you okay?" asked the guy to Lena. She replied, "I'm fine. Thank you for saving her. What happened to that rock? Why did it explode?" Approaching the priestess, they asked what had just happened and if she was all right. The priestess said she was fine, which was a backlash from the magic stone. But this stone has been passed down from generation to generation, and it's never happened before. "Have you already found out if she has divine powers?" asked Lon. "She doesn't even know. Maybe she's too old to call on the powers of the gods. But one thing's for sure. She's an unusual girl." Jialan took the girl's hand and said as the priestess said, "Luck and misfortune go hand in hand. So he truly believes that her calling for rain for them time after time will be their great fortune." At this moment, Manfei walked over to the priestess and saw that it was the female holding Brother Jia's hand. They have managed to get so close. So why is she taking advantage of Brother Lon's trust? She should definitely figure out something to get rid of that sassy female soon. When everyone returned to the tribe, a guy came up to Manfei and said that he had worked very hard on this necklace. "Please accept it." Again she spoke out. Didn't she tell him she didn't want to see him again? Wait a minute, though. Isn't this the perfect opportunity to get rid of that female? "Thank you for the beautiful necklace," I said to Manfei. Can she ask him to help her with something? Line was walking through this hot desert and thought that Jialan was so busy. Everybody goes to him for all sorts of reasons. For example, the chief. "My child is missing somewhere. Maybe he even ran away to the desert." And the chief said he would go and check. "The chief, her father, can't eat meat anymore. We need more vegetables." The chief replied, "Yes, okay," and went to get more vegetables. And so everyone went to the chief for all sorts of reasons, and he always helped them. Seems like it's not so good to be waiting for you. So much work and worry. She decided to go back to the cave alone, so as not to get in his way. She felt more and more like someone was following her, but she was actually really being followed by a guy. The one Man Fei had most likely asked. And looking back at her all the time, it seemed like there really was someone peeking at her. And she was right. Yeah, what's wrong with this female? Why is she so vigilant? Thought the guy. Had she really noticed him? But he must surely make amends for the sake of his beloved Man Fei. Memories. You remember the female the chief brought in the other day, don't you? She's afraid she'll bring much misfortune to their tribe. Will you help her get rid of her? It's this guy who remembers Man Fei asking him for a favor. Man Fei rarely asks for anything from others, so he urgently needs to figure out how to get rid of this unfortunate female. And then this guy had an idea. Different colored mushrooms. We don't know what he came up with yet. We'll find out later. He shouted, "Mistress Goddess!" And Lin turned around. "Who are you?" she asked as she approached the guy. He said his name was Zhao Lei. He was one of the people of this tribe. "Please accept this in gratitude for the rain you have called for, Goddess," and handed her the basket. When Lin saw what was in that basket, she was very surprised because there were mushrooms. Poisonous ones. "If you meet the same ones again, don't pick them," she said. "Poisonous? How so? He eats them himself all the time, right?" said fellow Zhao. Lin took one mushroom in her hands. "For your information, this mushroom contains as many as 2 types of poisons, peptide toxins and peptide parataxins. After consuming this mushroom, a person experiences nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. After a couple of days, these symptoms disappear. But this is a deceptive sensation. By that time, so much damage to the internal organs. Fatalities are not uncommon. We need to get rid of them before someone else eats them," said Lin. Besides, no need to thank her. She had nothing to do with the rain showing up. In an instant, before he could finish speaking, Lin was attacked by this guy with the words, "What a tedious," and annoying. He didn't think she knew so much, and the poisonous mushrooms would have to act differently. No wonder Man Fei had instructed him to get rid of this female. She's not as easy as she looks. "What are you doing? Let her go!" shouted Lin. He said he would finish her off, but she had such a face and body, it would be a shame to kill her without doing anything. He took out his long tongue and licked her with the words, "Why not enjoy her first?" But Lin was good at something too. She struck him between his legs there, the place to be deprived of offspring. "Damn female, you're too dangerous, I'll kill you now!" shouted Zhao. And he turned into a green giant lizard. "Again," Lin said. "How scary, still can't get used to their transformations." "It's a monster!" it shouted. "Come here!" and chased after the Lin girl. Shouted, "Jiaolan, save me," and ran with all her legs. She couldn't run anymore. It was still a long way away from the settlement. She wouldn't be able to reach Jiaolan in time. Plus, I tripped over a rock while running. That green monster only got excited. "Uh-huh," she exhaled. "Finally, haha, now she has nowhere to run to." All Lin could think of was to grab the sand and throw it at his face, saying, "Back off. The lizard's weak spot is their eyes." The sand hit the spot, and it was the lizard guy who screamed. He hadn't expected this from Lin. While he was floundering there with that sand, Lena got up and walked. This time she took care of herself. Having come almost to the village already, she wanted to get there as soon as possible, but she had no strength at all. She fell to her knees in the middle of the sand, unable to move. Her eyes began to flicker and go dark, and she lay down on the sand altogether. That's when Man Fei came over. "Die already," she said. Even before she dies, she dares to shout out Jiaolan's name. Your life is in her hands now, and she wants that one to pray for death. When Jiaolan was already able to help everyone in his village, he picked a lot of different berries and fruits for his Lin. She must have already reached the cave and is waiting for him. And this fruit should be enough for her to eat, Jiaolan pondered. As he was walking along the road towards his village, he saw Lei Si. It's a lizard guy. He was lying on the ground. "I think he hit his head on a rock. He'll live," said the fox doctor. "You're so worried about him. Sit down already," he said to the land guy. "Yeah, what does this have to do with race?" He said late and still not back. That's weird. It's pretty dangerous outside right now. He'd better go look for her. Man Fei walked into the cave. "Brother, where are you going?" she asked. "I heard that there was an attack. Have you figured out what happened yet?" "Race, you're finally awake. I'm glad you're okay," Man Fei said. "Race, what happened to you? Why were you lying unconscious in the middle of the road?" Lan's boyfriend asked. But today he started to tell me, but he was interrupted. Manfei started to say that with you, Foxy still has a headache and stroked his head. Whispers in his ear, need to blame it all on Lena. And then he cried out that he remembered what had really happened. Today he went to the mountains, shot some hares, picked fruit and mushrooms, and on the way back he was stopped by a goddess and passed out, and began to turn his head. And where are his hares and fruit? Jialan shouted. So you mean to say that Lin hit you on the head to take everything you had gotten? Rumors began to fly around the tribe, people discussing what they had recently heard, that theirs was not a goddess or goddess at all, but a spy from another tribe. How so? But that time she was the one who summoned the rain for them. Doesn't that make her a goddess? Saying that she was tricking them into trusting her? But no one knows yet what trick she used to summon the rain. The girls gathered outside were discussing. Passing by Jialan, heard a conversation from those girls. They heard that yesterday she hit Race on the head and stole all of his loot. Fortunately, he's fine now. Poor Lacey, the girls said. He had been searching for Lena all day, scoured their entire territory. But he still hadn't found her, Jialan thought. Lin, where did you go? Lan's boyfriend thought. As he approached his brothers, they asked him, have you found that spy from the other tribe? What will you do with her? They asked. Chiefs, it was you who brought the spy to us. You must deal with her soon. Who started spreading rumors about Linghe being a spy? Jialan asked. It's not that simple, everyone's talking about it, said one friend. Looks like Lacey doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut after all, thought Jialan. His friend also said he didn't claim it, just assumed it. That's just a guess, so keep it to yourself, the Lan guy said. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Once he's found, they'll have a normal explanation. The first thing to do is to clear Lena's name. The one who shushed everyone went to look for her. Lan's boyfriend. If those spreading these rumors get to her first, there's no telling what they might do to her. This was where he had found Lacey yesterday. Jialan began to explore the area to see if he could find any traces. If you sniff, you can detect the odor of two kinds of blood. One of the odors belongs to, and the other, this place smells like Lena. Looks like someone hurt her here. Interestingly, the footprints, though indistinct, if you study them closely, you can realize that they belong to Lena. Back in the tribe, Jialan burst into the hut with the words, Lei Shi, you're a damn liar. Chief, what are you talking about? Why did you call him a liar? Lizard Boy shouted. What the hell did you do to Linai? Grabbing his neck with his hands, he found her blood and footprints in the spot where he'd been lying yesterday. What have you done to her? Once more he screamed. Admit it already. You took your animal form and chased after her. That's what caused her to fall and hurt herself. How did you know? No, she hit me on the head and pelted me with sand and stole the loot. Why would she do that? There's plenty of food in his cave, and punched him in the face. He didn't want to expose his lies in public. But if he did something to her, that's another conversation. And continues to bash him. Jialan, stop, the priestess said. If you keep beating him, he'll die. Then you'll lose your only lead. She checked Lena's consciousness through the magic stone a while ago. She's still alive, the priestess said. Right. We need to find her as soon as possible, thought the Lan boy. He yelled again that he was giving him one last chance to tell him where Lin was. But the guy's face was already so run down that he could barely speak. But he tried to answer. He really didn't know. She threw sand in his eyes and he saw nothing. She must have run towards the settlement. Now you know everything. No one sent the truth to them, the boy shouted. You almost insulted the goddess of their tribe with your words. What, don't just stand there? Go immediately to find her. He ordered all the people of the settlement. All the people heard the truth and said, yes, we're going to go look for her. The cave in which Linnae lies, she came to her senses. She's so hungry. I'd like some pork stew or poultry now, or at least some fruit, I told Lena. Will she really die of hunger and cold here, lying on the rocks? Thought the girl. If she dies here, she will definitely complain to the lords of the underworld for being wronged here. First she was ruined by her own creation in the lab, and then she was transported to another world where she didn't even get to spend a few days. She couldn't think of a crueler fate. Just when she thought she was saved, she's locked in some strange place. And the water's all over the place, so I have to pick it up by the drop. It's a shame to die like this. Useless system. It's useless in critical situations. And now it's pretending to be asleep. There was a mad rumbling sound and a light came on. A voice rang out. Lena, that was Lan's boyfriend. He found her. But only Linnae couldn't see it. It seemed to her that it had already come her death sentence. She said, "Master, have you personally come to take her life?" "Line, what are you talking to?" Lan's boyfriend said. "It's him, Jialan. It's all right, he found you." He picked her up in his arms and said, "At last he's found her. Now we have to go home." And he carried her. Jialan's warm and soothing touch. "Jialan, you're here. He's finally here," Line thought to herself. If only he'd found her sooner, thought the Lan guy. "She's very exhausted," Mobai said. "Even if she wakes up, it will take time to recover." Lan asked, "Isn't there anything we can do to help her with her recovery?" Mobai thought about it, and remembered that the cinnalin flower calms the mind and nourishes the body. If she took it for a while, she would recover. But this flower, there are too many wild beasts. He rarely goes there, so he doesn't have the flower on hand. The boy remembered that there were these flowers in the settlement. He said he would go and get them, and stood up. Just then, a crowd of people entered the cave, led by Man Fei. After so many days of starvation, she's still alive. Luckily, she has another plan, she thought. Brother Jialan, she spilled all the water stored in the cave. It was the water of our entire settlement, Man Fei said, pointing at Lina. Since she's a goddess, why did she do that to them? Yes, that's right. We don't believe the goddess would do such a thing. The people gathered shouted. We won't stand for her wasting all their water supplies, sharing the flowers of the sin line even less so. The guy got really pissed off and said, first of all, there's no way he'll believe he spilled all our water. And secondly, if you don't want to give the flower back, he will go to the rocky forest and pick it himself. Bye-bye, he leaves in your care. If hunger comes, there is something to eat. There's plenty of food in his cave. Mobai told him not to worry, and he was waiting for good news, meaning he was waiting with a flower. Gailan went after the flower, pushing Man Fei and all the people away. Man Fei didn't understand why she was so furious with Lina, but she hoped she was content now. Brother Jialan, thought Man Fei, looking at him with fierce eyes. Because of that damn female. Lina, just wait. She'll find a way to kill her, Man Fei thought to herself. When Jialan went to get the flower, Man Fei had a plan. She turned to Mobai, who said that Linhei had overturned the entire water supply in the cave, and she should pay for it. We're asking you nicely to give it to us. We'll take care of it ourselves. Mobai said, leave it to you, but things won't work that way. I promised Jialan that the goddess would be fine. But we warned you, if you don't want to give the goddess to us nicely, then don't accuse us of being rude. Man Fei ordered them to attack Mobai. He was alone and protected the goddess as best he could. He said, you can't stop for love. After all, he is a fox. He jumped down, grabbed Linai and said, I'll see you later. Mobai jumped into his tunnels that were hidden and disappeared. His tunnels were like a maze and very much had traps. Man Fei, do we still want to chase them? The others asked. How unexpected, she said. Mobai dug the tunnels here in advance. We stopped chasing him. We don't need to risk anyone getting hurt because of him. Suddenly the secretly dug tunnels from a few days ago really worked, Mobai said, trying to feed Lina the medicine. He originally dug these tunnels to specifically make it easier to meet you, but now he's afraid of being discovered by Man Fei. This tunnel will have to be buried, but he won't have much trouble digging up another one. And don't let her worry, he's got plenty of room. Certainly she didn't know they were in this tunnel, so goddess, you should be grateful to me for saving you. Wake up soon, it should have taken effect by now. Something bitter appeared in my mouth. Turns out it's potions again. That's the bitter from last time. Linny, you're awake, rejoiced Mobai. Every time I see you, said Mobai, he becomes so weak. For in Mobai you saved me, thank you so much. Lene, she asked. Before she passed out, she thinks she saw Jialan, so where is he now? Mobai said that she couldn't talk anymore from now on. You have to conserve your life energy. She's very weak right now. She needs to eat first, but not too much. He'll bring some fruit to give her some strength. Mobai looked at Linai. He thought she was very cute. She had such a face. He asked her if she wanted to eat some fruit. Leaning over to Lina, Mobai asked, so what do you want to eat? I'm sorry, Mobai said. He should have let her say she was hungry first, then kept her from speaking. Leaning even lower toward her, he said, come on, keep your voice down. It might cut down on some of the physical activity. Maybe there's some porridge or soup, Line asked. The closer he got to her, the weirder it felt. His ears began to itch and he felt a little uncomfortable. Mobai wondered, what is porridge or soup? It was the first time he had heard of it. What? They don't even have a fire here? Why not seize the moment and improve the food? Then she'd better eat 2 fruits to soften her stomach, and then she'll teach you how to make a good meal. Evening came, and Linnae decided to teach Mobai how to make fire. Yes, it's exactly like that. He's doing it right. Better drill faster, and then you'll get a spark, Mobai said. Okay, that's his business. If you want it faster, it will be faster now. Finally, after some time of friction, he got it right, and the fire appeared. When Mobai saw the fire, he was horrified. Fire! It's fire! He shouted. So hotly he turned into a vixen and jumped into Lena's arms. Using just a wooden stick, he was actually able to start a fire, which was very much appreciated in the tribe. You're so cool, a real goddess, she said to Lena. As Mobai sat in Lena's arms, she stroked him. He was so soft and comfortable. If she could travel through time, she would love to have him as a pet. While Lena and Mobai were enjoying the fire, Jialan arrived. When he saw them, he dropped the flower he had been looking for. Line! Jialan exclaimed. But he rushed at Mobai in a rage and said, Mobai, what do you want to do with my line? This is my female! Mobai shouted, Let him go, I wasn't going to do anything. Lan, you're back so soon? He should have told you to turn off the path when he left his mark. He was originally worried that Mon Fei would be able to find this cave, so he purposely left the mark so that she wouldn't suddenly find them and disturb his solitude with Linai, Mobai thought. Mobai, let him warn you one last time. He, Jialan, has no intention of sharing his female with others. It's a habit to enjoy women alone. And anyway, this goddess is his, and stop looking at her like that. Lan, you're talking to yourself. What makes you so sure Linai didn't become yours? Did she say yes? Mobai asked. Somehow he hadn't heard anything about this at all. Line, answer him. Jialan, she really isn't yours. What makes him think she gave her consent? It hasn't been discussed yet, Linnae said. Suddenly her body felt so heavy and she found it hard to breathe. But Lena didn't Mobai, she asked him to step aside. She belongs only to herself and no one else. She asked the guys both to get away from her and not touch her because she was starting to feel bad. But Jialan didn't listen to her and walked over, asking Lena what was going on. Do you feel bad? Linnae didn't answer that she was somehow having a hard time breathing, short of breath, gasping for air. Lan lifted the flower from the ground and said that you should eat it as soon as possible. After eating the stamens of the star spirit flower, you will feel much better and breathe easier. Linnae took the flower and chewed on it. It didn't taste as bitter as the medicine Mobai had given her. Lan asked Linnae how she felt after the flower. The girl replied that she felt much better. She was able to open her eyes and realized that the flowers were quite effective. Line noticed that Jialan's hand was bleeding. Are you in pain because you picked the flowers she just ate? The girl asked. Lan said that it was normal to bleed. He gathered a lot of star spirit flower stamens, which should be enough for you for a while. Jialan, let him explain to you, Mobai said. Mobai began to explain. These attacked. We ran. We were able to escape after some explanation. Lainey understood everything. So it was actually Jialan who found her, not the lizard who wanted to harm her. She was also imprisoned by Jialan. Well, why was she imprisoned in the reservoir? Who did it? Why was she locked up? Thought Linhei. So she needs to get over it, but she can't understand some things. Just thinking about them all the time. So, okay, the most urgent thing is to treat Jialan's wounds first. Jialan, thank you for saving her, and went to the stone forest to find this star spirit flower for her. Taking his hand, said to Lena to bandage his hand. Because his wound is too deep, so you can't treat it with neglect. It must be treated well. Otherwise it will fester. Jialan had done so much for her, but she just said that she wasn't his, and she wasn't like him. She broke his heart. Mobai, do you have any wound disinfecting herbs here? Jialan, it needs to be disinfected or treated with something. Mobai asked, what is disinfection? And what kind of bacteria does it kill? Linnae had forgotten that there was no concept of sanitizing in this place. She feels like she can't clearly explain to Mobai what he needs to find. Incidentally, she remembered seeing Baikal hellebore and Achnatirium splendens near Jialan Cave before. Baikal hellebore has a disinfectant and kills all viruses, and Achnatirium splendens can stop bleeding. Mobai, can she ask you for a favor? Leanne asked. I need to go to Lan's hut and pick 2 kinds of plants, yellow like spikelets and purple flowers. Half an hour later, Mobai brings all the plants that Lena had asked for. He said to Lena, Choose any splendor you want. Whatever you want, I found what you asked for. He has a very good memory. He followed her instructions and found those flowers right away. While Mobai was walking, then Linnae was already able to build a proper fire and cook the meat. Precious fire, she said. Mobai, you're back just in time. The water is just about to boil. Now put a bundle of Baikal Schlemnik and a bundle of Amaterium splendens. They should be boiled in water until boiling. The boys only watched Linnae brewing something, conjuring something up. They wondered what she was doing. She made a soup and a medicine. Lan, drink it, and after a while the wound will stop bleeding and heal quickly. So magical, Mumbai said. Turns out Lee can't treat patients and save people too. She knows it even better than he does himself. Then it would be better for Lena to be Mobai's teacher. Let him be your student, he said. Linnae refuses to be his woman. But it would be great if she became his master, Mobai thought. Who says master and apprentice can't embrace each other? What if he was up to something too? Jialan grabbed Mobai by the ears and said it was a stinky fox rubbing. And there are pancakes at every turn. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a white system appeared. Congratulations on unlocking the plant map feature, it beeped. Line grabbed the white one and said, well, finally. She pretended to be dead when Line was in danger. Now it came out that she didn't need anything from her. Though he is the system, she is not omnipotent. Let go, she shouted. It cannot interfere with your actions or influence your decision at critical moments. You can only rely on yourself, the system said. Lena, you'd better turn this on quick, White said and held out a ball of green plant to her. Lean touched her finger, and everything sparkled around her. Wow, Lean thought to herself. The plant map can store plants you have identified for future use. For example, you can now plant Baikal hellebore and Achmatherium splendens in it. Inside is a very large container. There is enough space for everything. Not only can you unlock features, but powers as well. How many surprises there are on this journey that she didn't know about, Linnae said. A dungeon. Scorpion Boy is lying there thinking, is everything okay with Manfei now? His case shouldn't concern her, should it? He thought. Manfei bursts into the dungeon. Scorpius Boy asks her why she's here. Where are the guards? Manfei replies that the guard was knocked down by her. She came to save him. Jialan is now in love with a woman named Lean, and she fears that she will execute him for her own sake. What? Scorpius Boy asked. He actually wanted to fight for Manfei. So you'll have to run and leave this place, said Manfei. But he grew up in this town. Where would he go? You must go and take refuge in the Sita Desert. And Jialan, no, face it. You are giving up. You must be ready for anything. You can give Sita a message to show your sincerity. Just tell Sita that Jialan has a goddess capable of causing rain. When the time comes, Sita will definitely come to capture Linhei. Jialan returned with the goddess, cheering in the tribe. The children who ran up asked Jialan, they heard that you are heading to the stone forest to look for the star spirit flower. After all, the stone forest is so dangerous. Did you hurt yourself? The children asked. He was lightly wounded, but fortunately, thanks to the goddess's treatment, his wound healed quickly. Wow! The children exclaimed. The goddess not only causes rain, but also heals. That's amazing. Linnae replied that she just knew something and was very good at it. Mobai saw the mother and sister of the flight lead the way. What are they doing? What happened to the bandaged hands? Rice escaped from prison last night. He ran away and knocked out 2 guards. All were very angry and arrested his mother and sister to atone for his sins, reported the girl, and told Lena obviously the mistake was made by Flight, why his mother and sister should pay for his guilt. The Flight made a mistake, and the mother is responsible, and the sister and not in time did not stop it, said Lan. What about the father of the Flight? He is not responsible, asked Linhei. Their tribe is different from other tribes, which are dominated by women. Men are less, and they have to help in hunting for food for the whole tribe, replied Lan. So the disciplinary responsibility of Race's father is not big. Just help the tribe, and for a year he can hunt for free to get meat from animals. He's very hard on women, said to Lena. Can a father not be responsible for a child just because he goes out hunting all the things you can do at home? Doesn't the mother count as a contribution? She's a victim. She hasn't said anything yet, so why should his family get hurt? She's gonna stop all this. Lena, please wait, shouted Lon. Your body still hasn't recovered. Don't run so fast. Mobai wondered what she said made sense, wondering what it meant to sit together or sit next to each other, thought. The family is tied to huge rocks with ropes, and everyone is screaming punishment. Only angry men were standing around gossiping badly. And these two women, one said that the girl had such a nice figure. He had wanted to court her for a long time. And Lei is so nice, it seems they are very lucky. He wants everyone to have a child with him. Please stop being impatient, Manfei shouted. Be quiet, hear her out, for the criminal of the flight has escaped, and his father has been punished by banishment to hunt in the fierce devilish Gobi. Dali, they are to punish their mother and sister to right the wrongs of flight. The women shouted, No, let them go. Zecia, Race's mother, and Revi, Race's sister. Manfei announced that they would be held in a captive camp from today. Everyone can punish them. Let them continue the lineage, add new life to their tribe. Line was just in time, Manfei said. She poked her finger at her and said that here she was, the sinner who had turned over the water stored in their city. She wasn't the one who spilled all the stored water. When she woke up after she passed out, she was all out on the ground, Lin said. What you say has yet to be proven. Where is your proof? Let's send the criminal line to the prisoner camp, Manfei shouted. Manfei thought that no one saw that she was the one who spilled the stored water. That's why Lina has no proof. Jialan had already gotten to these accusations. He asked, Who dares to speak ill of their goddess? Manfei shouted, Don't you have to atone for the mistakes you've made? You always say she's a goddess. Let it rain immediately and bring the water back to us. Then since you're a goddess. Even though she's not a real goddess, but she can make it rain. That way she could use her goddess identity to save innocent women, Lian thought. Then the white system showed up again and said she had a good idea. But the rain skill wasn't available yet. But you recently discovered the thunder and lightning skill. Should we try them out? She will bring rain to the tribe, but not now, Lina said. She will try to do her best. Even though she is a goddess, she needs to absorb enough spiritual energy from heaven and earth before she can summon wind and rain. The last rain drained her spiritual energy. It takes some time, and there will be rainfall again, Linné said. Who knows how long it will take you to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, Manfei said. When will it rain? All the stored water in the city has run out. Do you want to starve them to death? People began to cry out that indeed there was not enough water in the house, and not for a few days. They don't want to die of thirst, people shouted. When will it rain? You're what? It's going to rain bright moonlight? She's bringing a shipment of water back to the tribe to make sure everyone doesn't run short of water. Can you accept this? Lon shouted.